Hello, I am Sunita. Welcome to my class. Here I am going to discuss GPSTR science topics according to the syllabus. Here the topic is speed, velocity and acceleration. Let us learn here physical quantities. We are having two types of physical quantity. One is scalar quantity, another one is a vector quantity. What is meant by a scalar? A physical quantity that has only magnitude but no direction. The physical quantity, it will show only magnitude but no direction. Magnitude means we will represent physical quantity in terms of a number or numerical value. Consider a mass. Here mass we will measure in terms of a kg, maybe 10 kg, 20 kg, 30 kg, then 10, 20, 30. These are the numericals. Therefore, the scalar, it will represent only the numerical values. Here also temperature we will measure in terms of degrees centigrade, maybe 35 degrees centigrade, then 55 degrees centigrade. Here, therefore, temperature is a scalar quantity. It will shows only the numerical values. Then here volume, it is also an example of a scalar quantity. Then density is also one of the example of a scalar quantity. Then what is meant by a vectors? The physical quantity that have magnitude as well as a direction. Physical quantity that they will show magnitude as well as a direction. They will give even numerical values also, and they will show even direction also. Here consider the boy is moving. The change in position of the boy from one place to another place, it is given by displacement. Here displacement, it will show the values also, numerical values, maybe 5 meter per second. Then here it will show the direction also, in which direction the boy is moving, that also it will give. Here velocity also one of the best example of a vector quantity. Here assume the boy is moving with a velocity 5 meter per second. Here 5 is the numerical value, then the boy is moving in this direction. Therefore vector, it will give numerical value also, then it will show even direction also. Then here consider two girls, they are pushing each other. They are pushing in opposite direction, therefore it is showing the direction. When they are pushing, they are applying a force on each other, therefore force is also one of the best example of a vector quantity. Why there is a need of a vector? Let us study why we need a vectors. Consider here motion in a straight line. This boy is moving in a straight line. Then if the boy moves forward, then we will consider as a positive. If the boy moves backward, we will consider as a negative. Here motion in a straight line, whether he is moving forward or backward, it is indicated by a vector. Vector, it will gives the direction. Here consider the motion of a car in a plane. Then here when the car started moving at some intervals of time, if it's covered some distance, then after some time continuously it will be change its direction. Then if you want to calculate the direction of a car at a particular distance, you need a vector, because the vector, it will gives the exact direction of the car in a particular distance or particular intervals of time. Therefore vector is a quantity, it will measure the direction of the body when the body, it will be in motion. Let us discuss the difference between scalar and vector. Scalar, already you know, scalar has only magnitude but no direction. Vector have magnitude as well as a direction. Example of a scalar are mass, length, temperature. Then example for vectors are velocity, displacement. Then here one important thing, third one is very important. Then scalar, we can add, subtract, multiply, division. We will follow the ordinary rules of algebra. Consider an example here. 25 degrees Celsius plus 30 degrees Celsius. Here we will follow simple addition. We will get 55 degrees Celsius. Here we are following a algebraic addition. Then next, consider next example, density of a material. You know the formula, mass divided by volume. Consider for example any number. If the mass is 2 kg, if the volume is 2 into 10 to the power of minus 3, then 2 get cancelled. 10 power minus 3 shifted to up, then it will become 10 power 3. 10 power 3 is nothing but 1000 kg per meter cube. When we are solving, we use the simple rules of algebra or ordinary rules of algebra. But here in the case of a vector, if you want to add or if you want to find out the other vector or resultant vector, we will follow some rules. Here consider vector A, vector B. Directly you can't add vector A and vector B. We have to follow some rules. That rule we will call it as a triangle law of vector addition. Then after adding these two, we will get a resultant vector R. Then here this valid in the case of a parallelogram also. Parallelogram law of addition, vector addition. Here also vector A, vector B, we will get a resultant vector. To add, we will use a loss here in the case of a vectors. Representation of vectors. We will use capital V to represent a vector, or small v, we will use this arrow mark. Then the magnitude of any vector is called its absolute value. Mod v, always it will be equal to v. Here if you inside the mod, if you have positive or negative sign, then we will remove the sign. We will use only the positive value. That value we will call it as a absolute value. Let us discuss in detail distance and displacement. Distance, it is the actual length of the path by a moving body irrespective of the direction in which the body travels. Here let us discuss with an example. Consider a car here. Here the car, it will start the journey at the point A. Then after some time it will reaches the point B. Then it covers 4 kilometers. Then after B, it will start again its journey. Then it will reaches the point C. Then it covers 3 kilometers. Then after C, it will reaches its initial position A. Then it covers 5 kilometers. Then total distance covered by the car, if you add all the distance, you will get total distance covered by the car. 4 plus 3 plus 5, it will be 12 kilometer. Therefore, distance is nothing but the total distance covered by the body irrespective of the direction. This one we will call it as a distance. Distance is a scalar quantity. Here we will consider only magnitude. Here we will not consider the direction. Here from point A to B, at the point B, it will change its direction, and again at the point C, the car, it will change its direction. But in the case of a distance, we will not consider the direction. We will consider only the how much distance the car, it will covers totally. That is nothing but a distance. If you add all the distance, then you will get total distance covered by the car. Let us discuss in detail displacement. When the body moves from one position to another, the shortest distance between the initial position and final position of the body along with the direction is known as displacement. Here consider the motion of the car. A is the initial position of the car, otherwise initial point. Then at point A, the car, it will start its journey. Then after covering 4 kilometer, it will reaches the point B. At the point B, it will change its direction. Then it will covers 3 kilometer. Then it will reach the point C. C is the final position of the car. Then here displacement is nothing but the shortest distance between initial position and final position. Here initial position is A, final position is C. Then here the car, it changes its direction. It will cover from A to B 4 kilometer, from B to C 3 kilometers. This distance we know. Then we want to calculate the distance between A and C. This distance we don't know. The distance between A and C, it is nothing but displacement. Then here according to Pythagoras theorem, AC square, it will be equal to AB square plus BC square. Then AC square you have to calculate. It will be equal to, you know the value of AB. AB is 4. Therefore, AB square means 4 square plus, you know the value of BC. BC is 3. Therefore, BC square means 3 square. Then AC square it will be equal to 4 square means 16. 3 square means 9. 16 plus 9 it will be 25. Therefore, AC whole square it will be 25. We want only the AC. AC it will be square root of 25. Take square root on both sides. Square and square root it will get cancelled. You will get only AC. Then square root of 25. You know the value. It will be 5 kilometer. Therefore, the distance between A and C is 5 kilometer. This 5 kilometer is nothing but displacement, because displacement is nothing but the shortest distance between the initial position and final position of the car or any object. Here the car, even though if it is changes its direction, even though if it is travels in different path, then here in the case of a displacement we will consider only the initial point and final point. The shortest distance we will consider here. We will not consider this path. This is the longest path. We will consider only the shortest path between the initial point and final point. That one always you have to remember. Displacement here we will get, that is 5 kilometers. Another one important thing here in this example, displacement may be 0. If the car, if it started its journey here, then it travels full park, then it will reaches the same point. If the initial position and final position of the car, if it is same, in that case displacement may be 0. Only the displacement may be 0 for some cases, but distance traveled may not be 0. Let us discuss the difference between distance and displacement. First one, distance is the length of the path traveled by a body while moving from an initial position to a final position. Distance is nothing but total length covered by a body while moving from its initial position to a final position. Distance, always you have to remember the total length covered by a body. Then displacement is the shortest distance between the initial position and final position of the body. Displacement is nothing but the shortest distance between the initial position and final position of the body. That is the first difference. Second one, distance is a scalar quantity, because distance it will show only magnitude. How much distance we covered it will show, it will not show direction. But displacement is a vector quantity, because it will show magnitude and also it will show the direction also it will indicate. Therefore, displacement is a vector quantity. Then third one, distance measured is always positive, because always a body, when the body is in motion, it will cover some distance. Therefore, distance is always positive, but displacement can be positive or negative depending upon the reference point. According to the reference point, maybe displacement sometime may be positive, sometime may be negative. Then fourth, the difference, the total distance covered is equal to the algebraic sum of all the distance traveled in different direction. In the case of a distance, total distance covered we will calculate. We will add all the algebraic sum of all the distance traveled in different directions. Then next one, in the case of a displacement, the net displacement is the vector sum of the individual displacement in different direction. But in the case of a displacement, we will consider vector sum of the individual displacement in different directions. Then fifth difference, there is always a distance covered where there is a motion. Whenever the object is in motion, then definitely it will cover some distance. Therefore, distance can never be 0. But displacement may be 0 if the body come back to its initial position. If In the case of a displacement, maybe sometimes it will be 0 if the body covers some distance, again it come back to the same position, means the initial position and final position of the body, if it is same, only that case displacement will be 0. Then sixth one, the unit of distance is meter, then unit of displacement is also a meter. These are the few main difference between distance and displacement. Let us discuss about speed. It gives an idea of how slow or fast that body is moving. Consider a ball here. If you throw the ball, then speed it will indicate whether the ball is moving slow or fast. Then come to the definition of speed. Speed of the body is the distance traveled by it per unit time. Speed is nothing but if a body, if it is covers a certain distance per unit time, we will consider as a speed. Therefore, speed it will be equal to distance divided by time. Whether the body, if it is covers some distance per unit time, we will consider as a speed. Speed it will be equal to distance is d divided by time t. SI unit of speed is meter per second. Speed is a scalar quantity because it has only magnitude only. Next one, velocity. Already you studied about speed. Speed does not give the idea of direction of motion. Speed it will gives only the magnitude. It will not show any direction of motion of a body. To know the exact position of a moving object, direction should also be known. If you want to know the exact position of a moving object, then you have to know the direction of the moving object. To find that one, we will consider velocity. Therefore, velocity of a body is the distance traveled by it per unit time in a given direction. Therefore, velocity is nothing but distance traveled in a given direction per unit time. If a object, if it is covers a certain distance in a given direction per unit time, we will call it as a velocity. In simple words, velocity it will be equal to displacement divided by time. Displacement is a vector quantity. Therefore, we can write it as velocity as displacement divided by time. Velocity of the body is the displacement produced per unit time. This is the definition. Then SI unit of velocity is meter per second. Let us discuss the difference between speed and velocity. First one, it is the distance covered by the body per unit time. Speed is nothing but total distance covered by the body per unit time. Velocity, it is the displacement of the body per unit time. Then second one, speed is a scalar quantity. Speed it will gives only magnitude. Therefore, it is a scalar quantity. Then velocity, it is a vector quantity because it will indicate both magnitude and direction. Therefore, velocity is a vector quantity. Third difference, the average speed of a moving body can never be 0 because the body always it will cover some distance. Therefore, the average speed it will be never be 0. But the average velocity of a moving body can be 0 when displacement is 0. But in the case of a velocity, average velocity sometimes it may be 0 because in some cases displacement it will be 0. When initial position and final position of the body when it is same, in that case displacement will be 0. Then fourth difference, speed gives an idea about rapidity of motion of the body. Speed it will give them information about rapid motion of the body. Then velocity gives an idea about rapidity of motion and direction of the body. Velocity it will gives the information about rapid motion of the body as well as the direction of the body. Then fifth difference, speed of a moving body can never be negative. Speed of a moving body always it should be positive. But velocity of a moving body can be negative, positive as well as 0. These are the few difference between speed and velocity. Let us study acceleration. Acceleration, it is defined as the rate of change of velocity of a body with time. Acceleration is nothing but rate of change of velocity, how the velocity is changing with time. Change in velocity per second. Acceleration, it is given by the formula change in velocity divided by time taken. Then a acceleration, it will be equal to change in velocity means initial final velocity minus initial velocity divided by time. This is the formula to calculate the acceleration. Here u means initial velocity, v means final velocity, t means time taken, a means acceleration. Then SI unit of acceleration is meter per second square. Then acceleration, it is a vector quantity. Thanks for listening my class. Send me your valuable feedback.